a 1.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another Joker's Wild Side review. I am Lobo,
I'm Jax.
and today we got a review a little late, but of the first episode of season 2 of Invincible. Man, been waiting for this for over a year,
And ever since I started watching Invincible, which we just dropped our video Wednesday.
Yes.
About how we felt about season 1. This is season 2, episode 1. We're doing episode by episode.
Yes.
Really excited for this.
Yeah. I mean, the first one ended with the big blast. Everybody getting destroyed. It was great ending. And then the way this one started, let's talk about that. Let's just jump right in. What you thinking the way it started this first episode of the second season?
So, first episode, we went through the prequel of the episode, like what's happened last.
The review.
And we get into the episode where Immortal is back to fighting Invincible and Omni-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And Invincible's not bloodied up. So my initial thought was, okay, and Immortal's back. And he's just fighting just to fight. Then Omni-Man comes back in.
Yes. And it just looked, I want to say odd. Yeah, odd works. Just the dynamic that the way season 1 ended and the way this was started is like something's off here. Because Omni-Man and Invincible were teaming on being immortal, and boy did they.
Yeah, so something felt off, and then we go into the city.
Oh, yes.
Invincible, to me, his entire cadence was completely different.
Mm-hmm.
He was not acting like how we left him in season 1, and not necessarily as like a specific as we left him, but even if a week, a month, a year passed, he was robotic.
He was very dictatorship-like in the way he was presenting, and the little video footage that he was showing to the whole city. It was like propaganda up the butt.
Oh yeah,
on that for sure. And then it goes out that there's like freedom fighters, pretty much for
little freedom fighters,
rebellion.
They go down into some nice little like secret tunnel through a bus. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then you intro. Well, first, Robot also has his old body.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, something's different here.
Mm-hmm. And then they show Adam Eve, short hair, scars all over her face.
And also her logo is different, but
slightly.
It just had an X through the female symbol,
mm-hmm.
which I was like, okay, this is a little bit weird. Maybe we're a year in the future.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously Omni-Man and Invincible come in and wreck shop. But right as they're gonna start killing the whole pretty much rebellion, there's a portal. And then it goes into pretty much into the actual episode.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, the first time I watched that, it confused the heck out of me. Because I did not know what I was watching. Till later on in the episode, I realized, as I told you. You actually kind of got it right away. Yeah,
so initially I was thinking it's a bad dream, but then it kept going on without stopping and having a sudden stop. I'm like, okay, not a bad dream. And then I was like, okay, we have Adam Eve looking almost completely different.
Yes.
We have Robot's original body. Something's happening here. I'm thinking Omniverse. And right on the money, we got Omniverse, and guy falls through a portal. Mm-hmm. Multiversal portal.
Yeah, which I didn't realize, as I was telling you. I was kind of lost there. But then it goes into, since you already said it, our universe, or the regular Invincible universe from season 1. And you see Mark just flying around, kind of aimlessly helping people. not really into it, just doing it like almost muscle memory.
Yeah. And this is where I was just like, okay, definitely multiverse happening. We just had a switch, and now he's back to his moping self, and like he's sad, he's slow, he's there to help, but he isn't getting the same drive from it.
It was a little out of it. Yeah, and then we get that he's going back to school. Very weird dynamic all over the place on that. Especially the way season 1 was.
The news sold it as Omni-Man blew up.
Yes. The thing is, they did not say Omni-Man as what's his name's dad blew up, not Omni-Man, because they don't know.
Oh
Most
yeah,
people
that's true. Yeah, yeah, I forget about that.
Mark's father.
Yes, Mark's father, Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
And he died in the explosion from across the street doing something.
Yeah.
We haven't had an official announcement of how he died, just he exploded.
Yeah, so a bunch of stuff happens. Obviously, Invincible wants to get back out there, but what's the Secret Service fucking
Cecil.
name? Cecil. I don't remember his name. Cecil tells him no, blah blah blah. And then there was something that happens in the where Cecil's headquarters is at that really caught me off guard, but I could see it happening in this universe anyways, in this show. Was it Bob? Donald, sorry. I don't want to call it Bob. Just another name. But Donald shows up. Back on that. He's not supposed to be there, right? He died in the first one when Omni-Man pretty much broke his spine or put his fingers through his spine and just squeezed.
Mm-hmm.
And then he exploded the house himself. But maybe there's clones like we were talking about.
So, talking about it, I actually think there might be a semi-reasonable explanation for it as well.
All right, go into it.
Cecil has the power of teleportation. How much can he teleport? Because he teleport Nolan's wife around?
Yes.
So when he goes to press the button, did he teleport Donald away? And now he's been recovered.
Just in the right nick of time?
Just in the nick of time, because it's a flash of explosion.
Yeah.
We're hoping to see in episode 2 why Donald is alive.
Definitely.
Or he's a clone.
Yeah, which is one of mine since there are clones all over the place. But that's just a little thing that caught me off guard. I'm like, no, he should be dead. But then the clone idea hit me immediately after. The Eagle fights this kid giant, really.
Mm-hmm. 8-year-old mentality giant.
Yeah.
Cyclops.
Yeah. It was all right. Nothing too big there.
It showed some things for Robot. Robot, if you didn't know, in the first season, he was a robot. And then he grabbed DNA, put it into the DNA guys. Now he's in a body. And now he's actually on the front lines. And
he's human.
He's human. He has fear. He's like, I'm going to die. And there's a little bit that lightly irks me about all of that. But it's something for another time. I'm curious to see how it plays out. I'm not going to delve too far into it.
Gotcha. Yeah, and then Cecil goes through them screaming at him that they're doing a bad job because of leadership, blah blah blah. Then they introduce Immortal. As the last season ended, he had his head cut off, but they kind of clamped it back together.
Yeah. Immortal keeps living.
Yeah. He's there's a reason why he has that name. And then Bulletproof, who I don't know if you caught this, but I did. His suit was the one that Mark tried out the first time in the first season before he got his own suit. So that's Bulletproof there. Him and Rexplode.
Yeah, Rexplode. They go at it and
verbally joust, and Rexplode gets destroyed, which I love.
I really enjoyed the dynamic because it put Rex in his place.
Yes.
He was always the token black guy, and now he's no longer the token black guy. And
yes, but not only that, it's just I kind of want him to be put in his place. Like I wanted Immortal to punch him dead in the face.
Oh yeah.
If it wasn't enough, Monster beating the crap out of him in season 1, he needs another ass whooping.
I feel like we're gonna see it.
Good.
I think Bulletproof's gonna fight Rex at one point in time.
I love it.
That or they're gonna become best friends.
Yeah. I just want to see his ass whooped. He just talks too much. Then it goes. Oh, then they talks about the actual clone brothers. I forget what their name right now.
The Mauler brothers.
Mauler brothers, thank you. They're in jail again, and then a portal opens up, and it's the same guy that saved the first guy. Which is, I'm going to mention something to you about that later. It's going to blow your mind, like his mind exploded, I think. So he tells him about his power he has. He can open portals to only universe, and he needs their help. The help is to get all of his people from other universes, all of him's, get all their information and their history and their knowledge into his own brain.
And the biggest thing is because him as himself is a very inquisitive person, takes notice of everything that is happening in the world. So he only trusts him with the most knowledge possible.
Yeah. And he even said himself, he wants a world of peace where everything's good and dandy. And that's great. But most likely won't happen. Regardless, he's trying to get all their information in their head. And apparently in 10 other universes, or 9 other universes, sorry.
Several. I think they just specify several other.
Yeah. Which later turns out there's more Mauler brothers helping, even though they thought they were the only ones. And then Invincible comes in as he figures out, as he goes to Cecil, and Cecil figures out what they're kind of doing.
Yeah, so during the entire episode, Cecil is basically cock-blocking him, saying, you're not ready for this. You can't go back in the field. You're not emotionally stable, which is a very valid argument for anybody who is going to be put in stressful situations. And we already had one moment where Invincible had a PTSD moment where he just where the bully talks about his dad and he just blanks out.
Yeah, and he hears the buzz and he like spaces out bad.
I can see where he might freeze up in some fight. Either he gets hit just right or something, and it's just going to take him back to it, and now he's going to be bricked out of the fight. I'm very curious to see how Invincible as a character moves forward. It's going to be a emotional journey for him, my opinion. But back to the Mauler brothers.
Yes. So they help him. They tell him to sit down. They got the machine ready. Invincible comes in. He starts following the Mauler brothers, and he's actually whooping them pretty good. And then Portal guy, I forget his name right now.
He had like 3 names. I stopped listening after the first.
He opens up a portal to release the other Mauler brothers, right? And they start beating the snot out of him. So he decides to take off the helmet and explode.
Yeah, because he's
a pacifist.
He, quote, does not want his new world or universe. Did he say world, universe, or empire?
No, he said utopia.
Yes, my new utopia forged from blood.
Yes.
And the Mauler brothers, which there are like 10 of them at this point, are just wailing on Invincible.
They did not care.
They're like, he's going to die. We don't care that he's going to die.
So they explode. Pretty much it. Cecil says, good job, blah, blah, blah. It was their fault. And then it goes to the cutscene at the end where one of the Mauler brothers survived with half his body like singed and melted.
It
awful.
Looked like it was covered in metal.
Yeah, but it was really bad. It's definitely that part's destroyed. And as he's walking away from the explosion, he hears some other noise, and it's the guy, the portal guy, which it was not. And I'm gonna tell you why. Remember the first episode in the beginning, the black guy that went to the portal. That was
okay.
He's the one that survived. Not the
I
portal.
Figured that it wasn't going to be the original. There was something that was telling me, and
so I figured it out because he was like very mentally stuck on Immortal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Invincible. And if it was the original guy, the Portal guy, he only met Invincible that right there in that fight.
And I didn't notice the facial hair, but he had very distinct facial hair where it was more scruffy and curly and coming out. And I didn't necessarily pay attention to that.
So the reason I also noticed is like, if you look at the episode when they're showing that person in the multiple universes of that guy, can't remember his name. Jeez, I need to bring up his name. But as I was showing them, they did a few closes offhand because I remember his tattered clothes. He has a few holes on the top.
Yeah, they got the camera on him about 3 times, 4 times. So like they were kind of selling him on the main character. And a big thing also is they introed his universe specifically. Yes. So it makes sense. When the guy did take off the helmet, he was vaporized immediately. And I was just like, as Telltales go, I was like, okay, somebody's got to survive. Then the story said, look for any potential survivors. And that was a big sell point for me of like, okay, somebody's alive. I wasn't expecting any of the Mahler brothers alive, but the Portal guy, he was still alive. One small thing with that is if they were all converged into one, he now does have the portal power because we do black screen with him using the portal to get away.
Yes. His name is... Hold on, I cannot find him. Yeah, I agree. There was... what's it called? I can't find his name. That is bugging the crap out of me.
Well, either way, we're going to see a lot more of him, I'm pretty sure.
Yes. But the thing is, he's the one that, in that universe, Invincible is the one that killed all his family and all his friends. So that's why I realized when he was screaming, he's the one that did this, Invincible, blah, 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 blah. That's when I realized, I'm like, oh, no, he's the one from the beginning. I cannot find him for the life of me. But what is your thoughts so far on this episode 1, season 2?
I am very excited to see it. We're going to see a lot of similar content. One thing I'm the most excited for is, well, the episode finally ends off with Immortal talking to Invincible and saying, I don't trust you. I don't trust you one bit. And with that, it kind of lays out the foundation for a path to grow, but it also lays out a path to arm themselves against Invincible if he was to ever turn. And they're always going to have, peeking out of their eye, a little side eye at Invincible. What is your next move? Are you going to kill him?
Yes. So his name is Armstrong Levi.
Okay.
So there we go, Levi. But yes, Immortal was like told him, I don't trust you at all. With that, I mean, I wouldn't either, to be honest with you. Would you?
No, I mean, his dad killed him twice.
That we know of.
That we know of. And when Invincible, before he knew Omni-Man's plan, also helped fight Immortal.
Yeah, I mean, he could play that card, though, where he wasn't sure what he was doing because his father hadn't told him yet, and he just saw Immortal attack. But in Immortal's eyes, you tried to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I get it. But so far, it started off a little slow, so I'll give it about a thumbs up, thumbs and a half.
But also the first episode of the first season did, too.
Yes, except the last scene.
That's fair. That's fair.
That last scene brought it up like 10 notches. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
This one was. It was good.
I enjoyed this episode.
Yeah. I know there's something that you mentioned during when you realized it was multi-universe, pretty much. Your thoughts on that?
I hate multiversal theory. It's how it is. There can be so much that can mess it up. There's so much that you can just bring in, take out without any consequence. With Invincible being as like dead stop as it is, I hope that they put real big restrictions on it and like they're going to address a lot of that. Because one thing that they did really well is with the superhero fad was not all superheroes are good. And they kind of hit like the realism level of it. So I'm hoping that they do play the multiversal card well.
I think then you put some rules in place that they cannot break to make it work. But I agree with you. I don't mind them. They don't affect me as much. I don't think as you get as you don't like them. But there's like I do agree that they do pretty much whatever the heck they want with it. And
as long as they don't bring back specific like things and it just feels like it's a rerun on a rerun, I'm fine. That's my biggest problem is, I'm not going to go too much farther into it. That's for another stream, another...
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Maybe at the end of the season, we'll get really into it, how we feel.
Depends on how they do it.
Yeah, exactly. But like I said, I'd give it a thumbs up, thumbs and a half. What'd you give them?
For this episode alone, I'll give it a thumbs up. I was entertained.
Nice setup for what's coming.
Yeah, nice setup for what's coming. Storyline was a little difficult to read. I like a hard story to read. Yeah.
Okay. Now, with that said, you got our thoughts on that. What do you think is coming? Let's do a little prediction.
So,
like for those that don't know, I'm gonna go into this a little bit. This is technically straight out of a comic. It's not 100% page to footage, but they're guiding it through a little bit.
Yeah. It's kind of like The Walking Dead. There's a baseline, but they'll take it however they want.
Yeah. So what are your predictions on this?
My predictions for the show is the Brain Guy is going to be the big bad for a while. We're going to see the Rock Guy back later in the episode or in the series. I'm thinking episode 2, episode 3. We're going to see him pretty early on because he's like Invincible's biggest target. Rockman obliterated Invincible.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. There's still the love contrast between Robot and Monster Girl. That'll be pretty neat to see that go. I think that they're going to play a lot of comedy on it. But in the end, I don't think it'll work out. That or Monster Girl dies.
I have a feeling it's going to be more the latter. Monster Girl, I think so too.
And then Robot gets an awakening and goes, all right, it's no more messing around. Because he's a very timid person right now. And he just lost his command position.
Yeah.
That's what I can see in the near future.
So I agree with a few of the opponents, like the Levi being the main baddie. Obviously, the way they set it up. I think he's going to break up with his girl. What's her name? Mark, I think, is going to break up with his lady. Or they're going to break up somehow. He's going to get with, obviously, Eve. I'm not sure if this season or next season. And I kind of want to see a whole season without Omni-Man till the last scene.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we get Omni-Man in the last little bit, because I want Invincible to grow as a character.
Yes, exactly.
And kind of solidify his position, or make it to where he's more uneasy about should he save this planet.
Or join
Omni-Man and rule the planet.
Yeah, I just think this is a season where he needs to grow, like you said, as a character. He needs to get stronger. One, he needs to mentally mature, and then change the way he thinks. Obviously, and then Omni-Man returns at the end.
Yeah.
That would be a great cliffhanger to leave it at for season 3.
Mm-hmm.
But let us know what you thought about episode 1, unless you got something else to add.
Nope, that's all I have.
Yeah, like we said, we enjoyed it. We're here for episode 2. We can't wait, which comes out
every Thursday. You were saying Thursday night.
Yes.
We will have a specific time for you on the next upload.
Yes, exactly. But other than that, leave your thoughts. What you think was good, what you think was bad, what you think is going to happen. But other than that, this was Lobo.
I've been Jax.
And this was Joker's Wild Side.
See ya.
Review. See ya.